Hello, fellow robots off in internet land. I am Sobertron, and welcome to the next episode of the TekTopia Survival Guide. In last week's episode, we talked a bit about preparation mostly, and we did end up starting our village, but as you can see, it's currently off. I've taken down the Town Hall token, because right now our two villagers over there have nothing to do, so we're going to fix that right now. Now, in between episodes, I have done quite a bit. I have terraformed quite a bit more. As you can see, this hill has been pushed back a little bit more, and eventually it'll be mostly gone. I do need to remove my temporary house up there in a little bit. I also ventured off to great distance to find a jungle biome, because we're going to need some jungle saplings today for our episode, and there they are right there. What I ended up doing is walking a good 6,000 or 7,000 blocks. I ended up crafting an ender chest here and another one to take with me, and I just threw everything in there, and then I killed myself. But it's not a big deal. I've done a lot of mining. I've built a temporary mine down here, and eventually we will convert it into one for our villagers. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to build our farm area. And these are the things I'm going to need. So one thing that people, when they're first playing this mod, don't really understand is that the distance from the farmland relative to the town hall matters. This plot right here, this 9x9 I'm going to build right here, is going to be more active than, say, this one back here. And that's just simply because they're going to be the same size, and because that one is further from the town hall, it's not going to be as active. Now, if I were to make, say, this one bigger than this one over here, there are ways to balance it out, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. The other thing that people don't understand is that you need to border off your farmland. So I'm going to use some oak logs to create a border. And if we didn't do this, the farmers would try to till this land over here, but it won't be hydrated, and it just won't work. So I'm going to build this. I'm going to show you what I've come up with. It's nothing special. It's 4 9x9 plots. And when I do that, I'll be right back. And I'm back. So this only took me about 10 or so minutes. I just slept. Sun's just rising. And I wanted to explain a couple things. So some people will build the farmland and not actually put any crops down, thinking the farmers will just start planting. But it's not possible because they don't know what to plant there, nor does a new farmer have the seeds and or carrots, potatoes to do it. So what you need to do at a minimum is to define your area like we've done here and place at least one seed down. Now, when this fully grows, the farmer will come. He'll harvest that, and he should plant corresponding seeds around it. To help jumpstart that, though, we have planted each field to its full extent. This will help a lot especially in the early game, as you've usually only got one farmer. The other thing I wanted to show you is how most people start doing sugarcane, and a more convenient way to do it. So most people will put a water stream or water source blocks right along their farm, and then they will plant sugarcane along it. The couple problems with this are that your villagers cannot jump over water, so they can't pathfind to this, so they're going to go around, and that's actually wasting time they can be performing other tasks. Now, since this is pre 1.13 where we could waterlog things, a lot of people try to put carpet here. The problem is villagers don't recognize carpets and actually rails on top of that as a pathable block. So sometimes they will just walk up to it and they'll stare at the sugarcane and they'll get stuck. Occasionally they will walk around, but more times than not they're just looking at this sugarcane trying to get to it, but they can't. So a workaround that me and some other friends discovered early on is to try to hide your water source under the structure near your crops. And you want to do that because it's less time for the farmer to travel. I've actually gone out and I've removed all other sugarcane from our village border So what we can do right now is place some water down here. It should flow. And then we could plant dirt there. And then if we place the sugarcane, not only does it add a nice decorative block, but it also makes it very convenient for your farmers to travel back and forth between crops and sugarcane, and then they can quickly access the storage building. So I'm just going to finish this up right here, and I will be back with you in a little bit. So I've been AFKing for a bit, allowing our crops to grow, and while we've been doing that, we've been using this AFK fisher here. Some of you more astute robots out there in the community may have noticed I have a pretty decent bow, and I got that earlier from AFKing. I've been AFKing for a bit. I haven't gotten too much, nothing great in the way of kind of books really recommending. That way I can customize the diamond tools. I've also built a little egg collector with these chickens here. You notice in episode 1 I was collecting eggs quite a bit, and that was to build this because later on we're going to build ourselves a chicken cooker. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get started on our tree farm. We have our farmland ready for our farmers, and now we need something for our lumberjacks. So I've got that one piece of a cobblestone slab floating in the sky, and we're going to need a couple more resources right now. What we are going to do is right there. We're going to space this out by 4. It can honestly be anything you like. The oak and birch can actually be right up against each other, but one thing I've noticed playing this mod a couple times through is that you need occasionally some space in between your trees. The lumberjacks can sometimes get stuck as a tree grows, and I've noticed that happens more times when a druid is around. We don't have any druids right now, but we just want to make sure they're safe. And considering we only have the one lumberjack, we need to make sure he doesn't get stuck in a growing tree. So I'm going to continue to build this farm. And actually, I'm going to take those trees back there down because I have a plan over there, and I might actually build it off camera after we finish this, but I'll see you shortly. Hello everyone, I'm back from building that tree farm, and I've also built a new 2-bedroom house for some new villagers to occupy, but I just wanted to take a quick second and say from my robot family to your robot family, Happy New Year. It is just after midnight on New Year's Eve my time. I thought I'd take the time to show you a couple of game mechanics. The one mechanic I kind of glossed over in the last episode is this village or village border, as some people call it. Now, it will spawn 120 blocks in all 4 cardinal directions from your town hall, just on the other side of our storage building. And this border shows where the villager AI essentially stops. If a villager were to come outside this border, it would just cease to function. You can bring it back in, you can move villagers from another village into yours, but in between that gap, they're not going to do anything. The other thing, actually, that merchant is a prime example, is a command I wanted to show you that TangoTek developed for this mod to show some things. That is village edges. So, village edges will temporarily show you some armor stands where both merchants and nomads will spawn into your game. So if I were to hit enter right now, you'll temporarily see some armor stands. They come very quickly and disappear. So if you notice, the nomad spawned over here where that armor stand was, and the merchant spawned over here. So that is true for all 4 corners of your village. The nomads and merchants have the potential to spawn in any of those corners, and that is why it is important for you to check that those corners are actually pathable to your town hall. If you were to build in a swamp biome or near a river or a river running through your area or on a coast, those corners might be blocked by water in some capacity. And so you would want to build some kind of spawning platform in those areas to make sure your merchant and nomads can pathfind to the town hall. That's the key, is pathfinding to the town hall. So off camera, I did build a second home. I actually occupied it with a couple of nomads, and I turned one into a an additional lumberjack, and one into an additional farmer. But as we come up here, I wanted to show you some things about the nomads. So the nomads start off with a default intelligence, and some of them start off with um, some skills in certain professions. So this one is a level 18 druid and a level 9 blacksmith, and that would be great if we had somewhere to put them right now. Problem is, we only have space for 4 villagers. We don't want them to have to be lacking a bed, so we are going to kind of say bye to those guys, and hopefully we get something similar later on down the line. The reason I went with a second lumberjack and a second farmer is because I think early game you need those resources more than others. You need a lot of wood, you need a lot of crops. So I went with 2 of those, and it's generally the thing I do in most new worlds I build in TekTopia. The other thing I wanted to show you, let's go after this one right here, is let's look at Jessica. So Jessica, she's got some things in her inventory right now. She's been chopping some trees, but I wanted to show you their AI. So each villager, based off their profession, will have a unique AI, and it'll show you their tasks. So right now, you've got chopping down certain trees, picking up saplings, picking up apples, visiting the tavern, library. So you can toggle these on and off. So let's say you have an excess of oak wood. Like, I have too much oak wood, I have nothing to do with it, I don't need any more. You can shut that off and they will ignore the oak trees. So it's a way to customize your village based off your current storage capacity. Another thing I wanted to show is that each of these villagers have a unique name. So this is Kashmir Roxley. So a lot of these names are based off of Tango's patrons. Kashmir is actually a very close friend of mine. I talk to her almost every day. I call her Cash. She is an amazing friend to have, and that's why this was one of the first villagers we had, and as soon as I saw her standing there, not moving around, I was like, I need to keep this farmer because she's a great friend, and I had to give her a little shout out in this series because she is wholeheartedly supporting me in this endeavor uh, to build this series. So I just gotta say thank you, Cash. Thank you for everything you do. I think that's it though for today. We've got a tree farm going. We've got our crop farms going. Off camera, in between episodes, I'm gonna hopefully terraform a bit more. Maybe expand this tree farm. It looks like they're burning through it rather quickly with 2 lumberjacks. But thank you guys for watching. I look forward to making another episode. I hope you enjoy. Have a good night.